Breaking right now, are Harry and Meghan preparing to escape America under Donald Trump? Are they looking for a new place outside of the UK where they can continue making royal visits across Europe and Africa? Or is there another reason for this purchase of a new property in Portugal, which friends say mean that Meghan Markle is very likely to never step foot in the UK again? Royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz, joins me now. Tasha, great to see you. What is going on? This is a bolt from the blue. Harry and Meghan, who claim to be so happy with their Montecito lifestyle, now buying a brand new property in Portugal?
The Sussexes' Portugal plunge a strategic retreat. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have made a splash with their recent move to Portugal. This relocation comes amidst swirling speculation about their financial stability and future aspirations. Have they found a sunny sanctuary, or is this a desperate attempt to stay relevant? One thing's for sure, the Sussexes are never far from the headlines. Their new Portuguese haven is a far cry from the gilded cages of Kensington Palace. But don't be fooled by the laid-back facade. This move is calculated, a strategic play to reclaim their narrative and control their image. Portugal offers them privacy, yes, but also a launchpad for their brand. This isn't just about escaping the British tabloids, though that's undoubtedly a bonus. Portugal is a strategic choice. It's a bridge between their old life and their new, a place where they can court European audiences and forge lucrative partnerships. The Sussexes are building an empire, and Portugal is their latest acquisition.
Well, it's so hard to tell with these two. There's so much stuff that is floated around, I think, by their sources, by certain media outlets. It's hard to tell if anything is true or not. I think it was Richard Eden that broke this story. There's multiple reasons why they could do it. It could be because there is an actual chance of Trump coming into power. How long it would take him before he would actually evict Harry is a different story. I'm sure he'll have more important things on his mind. But there's also potentially for tax purposes. I know that Portugal, if you're on a special visa, the golden visa, you don't have to pay as much tax. You only have to spend, I think, as little as 7 days in the country if you are given one of those. And the tax benefits are, well, there's a reason why lots of rich people move to Portugal, put it that way. And yes, I mean, it could also, the other thing that I floated past my brain earlier was, there's so many stories talking about a separation between the couple. A magical story comes out that they've suddenly purchased a lovely holiday home together or a potential place to move to. It kind of softens a lot of those stories that they are actually separating, that they're still happy, they're looking to move somewhere new, another fresh start. But I couldn't see Meghan moving to Portugal at all.
How many fresh starts do these two need? There's obviously the Eugenie connection here as well, because Harry and Meghan actually holidayed with Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, in Portugal. And Eugenie and Meghan, there they are, they go way back actually. So they are genuine friends. And Jack Brooksbank is actually involved in the marketing of some sort of properties in that part of Portugal too. So it looks like, at the very least, they fell in love with the area after this holiday.
Financial quicksand, Netflix and Spotify, deals crumble. The sun-drenched beaches of Portugal might offer a temporary respite from the storm brewing around the Sussexes' finances. Their lucrative media deals, once touted as their golden ticket to freedom, are looking increasingly shaky. The clock is ticking on their $100 million Netflix deal, and whispers suggest it won't be renewed. Spotify pulled the plug on their podcasting deal earlier this year, leaving a gaping hole in their income stream. The Sussexes are learning the hard way that the world of streaming is fickle. Their brand of woke preaching and thinly veiled royal revelations might have initially attracted subscribers, but the novelty has worn thin. The Sussexes are facing a financial reckoning. Their lavish lifestyle, private security detail, and sprawling Montecito mansion don't come cheap. Without the hefty paychecks from Netflix and Spotify, they'll need to find new ways to fund their ambitions.
See, I'm a little bit unsure that they did actually go holiday with Jack and Eugenie, to be honest, just because we never had any photographs down. No matter where Meghan is going, she loves the paparazzi. She stages her own car park paparazzi strolls, getting out of the security vehicle, advertising whatever it is she's got on her wrist or her hand. And I just cannot believe that there isn't a single photograph of her arriving at the airport, leaving the airport, any vehicles, none on the beach. We've seen photographs of obviously Eugenie with their two sons on the beach, with Jack obviously taking the picture. And I just can't help but feel that that story may not have actually been true, just for the simple fact, as I said, if there's no photograph, no paparazzi photographs, then I think it might have been just another story put out there to show we are still close with certain members of the royal family. There was obviously a friendship in the beginning with Eugenie and Meghan, and I think they met through Marcus Anderson originally. And then obviously they did holiday over to Montecito. There were photographs released of Eugenie out to dinner with Marcus Anderson, Meghan and Harry. Naturally, the paparazzi were there to capture that moment. And Eugenie was also at the Super Bowl with Harry. But since then, outside of the Queen's Jubilee, they were obviously still friendly. The Queen's final, the big procession, her funeral, Jack and Eugenie would not make eye contact with either Harry or Meghan. And then obviously after the Queen's death, we then had Netflix come out where Eugenie and footage of Eugenie was actually used. And I'm not too sure whether she would have been aware of that. So I'm not so sure that they are friends anymore, at least.
And of course, there was the meeting between the sisters and Piers Morgan, which we know would have absolutely infuriated Harry and Meghan. But my sense is that they remain the closest out of the cousins. Now, just because they remain the closest out of the cousins, that doesn't mean they're close, Tash, because the rest of the cousins despise Harry and Meghan now, especially Zara and Mike Tyndall. They don't want anything to do with Harry and Meghan. They are completely disgusted. So I think it's fair to say that probably Eugenie is the closest. But as I say, I think on the whole, she did side with the rest of the family about how abominable their behavior was. But there's loads of other things that have gone on behind the scenes there too, because of course Eugenie doesn't want Harry and Meghan to go on the attack against her father, Prince Andrew. So it's all highly political.
Royal ripples, Eugenie, Jack, and the Sussex effect. The Sussexes' move to Portugal has sent ripples through the royal family, particularly impacting Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank. Eugenie, known to be close to Harry, might find herself caught in the middle. Will she be drawn into their orbit, lending her royal credibility to their ventures? The timing of the move, coinciding with King Charles and Queen Camilla's visit to Australia, suggests a deliberate attempt to steal the limelight. The Sussexes are experts at overshadowing royal events, and this move is no exception. The Sussexes' constant need for attention creates a dilemma for Eugenie and Jack. They are trying to carve out their own path, but the Sussexes' drama threatens to eclipse their efforts. The Portuguese adventure might bring them closer geographically, but it could drive a wedge between them emotionally.
It is interesting, though, isn't it? Because as you say, there's no way Meghan's moving permanently to Portugal. It's very clear that Harry isn't particularly happy living full-time in Montecito. So is it possible that because he's putting his foot down over the security in the UK, that he perhaps thinks, well, this is a way where I can still be close to the UK, but I don't have to look like I'm giving in over the battle with the Home Office. And I would say he wants time away from Meghan. That seems 100%. So there's all of those politics going on with Andrew and Fergie. But Tash, let me just read what Richard Eden wrote today in this new column, because there's a clue here to something else really interesting, Tash. So he writes, my colleague Bryony Gordon, who was with Meghan and Prince Harry that day, this is the day they left the UK, said the former actress appeared to be quietly devastated and had tears in her eyes at her last private function at Buckingham Palace. At the time, I wondered if we would ever see Meghan again in this country. Now it would appear that she has found a way of keeping a foothold in Europe without actually having to set foot in Britain, where she is becoming increasingly disliked with every bitter utterance she makes against the royal family. acquiring a golden visa would help Meghan as she and her husband develop their plans to become the rival royals across the water, enabling them to travel easily through European countries. We have already seen them undertake quasi-royal tours of Nigeria and Colombia with more overseas trips planned. Now, lots of interesting stuff in there, but to me, the most critical line, Tash, is the fact that he mentioned Bryony Gordon. Now, Bryony Gordon has been recently hired by the Daily Mail specifically because she's mates with Harry and Meghan. And the Daily Mail has gone pathetic. It's turned woke. They're worried about the lawfare that Harry's undertaking, and they want to be friends with Harry and Meghan. So my suspicions is that there's no way Richard Eden is writing that story, quoting Bryony Gordon, if Bryony Gordon hasn't checked its veracity, if you see what I mean.
The Crown's shadow, Harry and Meghan's uncertain future. The Portuguese sun might be shining on Harry and Meghan for now, but dark clouds are gathering. Their financial future is uncertain, their relationship with the royal family remains strained, and their brand is losing its luster. The question is, what's next for the Sussexes? Will they retreat further from the public eye, seeking solace in their Portuguese hideaway? Or will they double down on their media ambitions, desperately chasing the spotlight? One thing is certain. Harry and Meghan will never be content to live a life of quiet anonymity. The Crown casts a long shadow, and Harry and Meghan can't seem to escape it. They crave the freedom and independence that comes with being ex-royals, but they also rely on their royal connections for relevance and earning power. It's a delicate balancing act, and one that they haven't quite mastered.